Hey guys, it's Red Shadow here, and this is just kind of a different video, something I wanted to talk about because I watched a few videos a few days ago by a YouTuber who I'm not going to name, nothing against this particular person. I don't really want to engage in that particular person's videos because I don't really want to get like called out for stuff and enter into debates and be a target for any kind of thing. It's not really that big of a deal. I just have some opinions on what was said by this particular person, and I think it needs to be put out there. But this particular guy was talking about some frustrations within the gaming community and his opinions on things, on a multitude of different subjects. But the things that stood out for me the most was his thoughts on some fellow YouTubers. Now, I know you can't expect everybody on YouTube to embrace everyone else that's on YouTube. It's like any other kind of community. There's going to be people who you get along with, people who you identify with and relate to, and there's going to be people who you just shake your head at and think, God, that person's kind of off the deep end. It's not perfect. It's like a family. You have family members that you love, and you have family members that you tolerate. So anyway, this particular guy was talking about how the gaming community, essentially, I'm boiling it down to like the gaming community should have more solidarity, more support for one another, more give fellow YouTubers that you enjoy more exposure and share them around with people, which I think is a common thought process for a lot of people in YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTubers. I did a series on my favorite YouTubers, and I still want to do more videos highlighting more people that I love on YouTube. But this particular guy seemed to be suggesting that channels of the same size should be helping each other out and shouldn't be promoting in any way any of the channels that have 1 million subscribers or 5 million or 10 million or 30 million. Yes, he specified guys like PewDiePie and Markiplier and said that they were trash, said that they were horrible. And I'm like, okay, it's fine if you don't have a positive opinion about them and you have every right to express it. That's fine. My only problem with this guy commenting on it is I got the idea that this particular fellow was more of a collector slash reviewer type gaming YouTuber than he was a Let's Play type YouTuber. And in my opinion, even though it all falls under the umbrella of gaming, it's still two different things. People who show off their collections, people who play a game and give a review on it, people who talk about the feelings of nostalgia that they get from even just listening to the music of a game that they played 20 years ago, people who do pickup videos like I do, people who do top 10 videos of their favorite games for certain platforms. That is one big genre or one big chunk of the gaming genre that's on YouTube, but it's by far not the only one. Completely different would be the Let's Players. Whether they play a game and upload the footage and there's no commentary whatsoever, they don't talk, they don't goof off, they don't do anything, or they commentate, but they just say, hey, this is something that you need to do, and there's something that you can find over here, and there's no personality, so to speak, behind it. They're just being helpful and giving you some verbal direction. Or whether they're your PewDiePies and your Markipliers and your Minxes and your Cries and Jacksepticeye's who entertain, whether you are entertained by it or not, whether you think it's funny or not, doesn't matter. When those people who entertain with their commentary doing their thing, that's a completely different facet of the gaming community of YouTube than the people I was mentioning before, the collectors, the people showing off their games, doing reviews and all that. It's two different things. Neither would exist without video games, so video games are very important. But if you're a guy that likes to sit around and talk about the newest games that are coming out or talk about your old favorites, I don't feel like you have a whole lot of room to be bashing on somebody who does gaming from a completely different angle, like a Let's Player. But once again, you have every right to your opinion, and if you don't like those people, I don't expect everybody to like them. You like loud, obnoxious people who are goofing off and saying the most random shit. If that doesn't do it for you, that doesn't float your boat, fine, more power to you. And you do have the right to say it and to express that. I'm perfectly fine with that too. I wanted to clarify that that's not the same thing as I consider myself to be a part of that collecting group, because I've never uploaded any footage of me playing a game and doing commentary, and I'm just going to admit it right now, I would love to. I would love to do it. I would love to bring to it whatever I would. I don't know what I would bring to it. I don't know that I would ever have a massive amount of subscribers and views, but I would have a fucking good time doing it. And all it would take for me right now is the money to be able to buy the correct equipment for it. And that's just something I don't have right now. So perhaps in the future it will happen for me. But right now, I am a collector. I am a guy who shows off my stuff, does the lists, the countdowns. My favorite game series was one of my favorite things I've ever done in my over a year of doing YouTube. And that's where I live. That's what I do. But I watch a lot of people who do that, but I also watch a lot of Let's Players, and it scratches a different kind of itch, if you will. It's in the gaming thing, and I really, really enjoy it, but it's not for everybody. And I know where my place is as far as the content that I put out. But I also know what is entertaining to me, and if somebody thinks I'm an idiot or a douchebag or a retard for liking PewDiePie and Markiplier and those games, and all of those guys, then bring it on. I don't care. I know what's entertaining to me. The other part that I wanted to address in that has to do with another YouTuber who falls within that original category that I'm talking about, not the Let's Players, but the other kind of gaming collector and whatnot. And it's something that happened recently. It's funny how I stumbled across the guy who I'm kind of responding to's video within less than a week of me knowing what was going on with this other YouTuber. This other YouTuber is a guy by the name of, his channel is called Metal Jesus Rocks, but just kind of refers to himself as Metal Jesus. He's a guy who's got an interesting history. He worked for Sierra, the PC gaming company, back in the 90s. So awesome that he was with the company around the time they were producing one of my favorite games for the computer, Phantasmagoria: Puzzle of Flesh. He was working in that company and you know, was a gamer, was playing games, and I don't remember exactly what his job with Sierra was. I don't know if he was actually hands-on making the games or if he was working in some other facet, but he was living a dream life that I would love to be a part of. And he proceeded from that time in his life to become a gamer, a collector, buying consoles and games, PC stuff, console stuff, you know, open-minded guy who likes everything. And then he built a YouTube channel around that, showing off his collections, showing off and doing those lists, those top 10 lists, top 10 games on a console, top 10 hidden gems. I've bought many a game because of his hidden gem videos, games that were under the radar for a lot of people that were really, really awesome. I've picked up a few, and I've probably got a virtual list in my mind, of several more hidden gem games that he's talked about. I really enjoy his channel. I really enjoy the content that he does. He's awesome. He loves music. He is just into all those kind of geeky, nerdy things that a lot of people are. And he's a guy who's probably around my age, if not maybe a little older. I don't think I've ever heard him say his age. So it empowers me a little bit to be a 40-year-old gamer geek. So as far as I'm concerned, this guy can really do no wrong. But a couple of months ago, he pitched an idea to his subscriber base and said, I want to take Metal Jesus Rocks out on tour, you know, to play off the musical connotation. He wanted to take himself, his wife, and his good buddy Drunken Master Paul and they wanted to buy an RV and load it up and hit the road and tour across America and perhaps Canada, Mexico, or whatever, and hit up places that his subscribers thought that he should go to. Come to my hometown and see our gaming scene. Go to this place because it's really, really awesome. Come over here, go over there. And you may have figured it out by now where the controversy in this is, because it sounds really, really awesome. He was going to do all these episodes on the road. They do these shows called Gamer Eats where they make gamer snack food. Really cool, interesting stuff. They did an episode once about all these really fun and awesome snacks they made using waffle irons. And just really fun stuff. I don't know how else to put it. Just fun gamer awesomeness. And he wanted to take that out on the road and do shows in towns, even in gamers' houses. I would never have said, hey, come to my house, because I just would have been embarrassed, my humble, meager little abode here. But I would have loved to have seen him go to some other really awesome places. But as I was getting ready to say, the controversy that was up there, that this one guy I'm talking about, still unnamed, who he took umbrage with it, I guess. And that was that Metal Jesus wanted to do like a Kickstarter. Well, it was an Indiegogo, a fund me type thing, to raise $50,000 to do this little tour this summer. $50,000, yeah, that's a big amount. That's like, ooh, there's some impact behind hearing that. But this is a guy who has over, I believe it's like 118,000 subscribers now, Metal Jesus Rocks, or somewhere around that amount. And if he had even 50,000 of his subscribers watch that video and pledge $1, goal met. $1 out of 50,000 people's pockets, 50,000 people who appreciate what this guy does. I would have donated $1. In fact, if I had seen the video when it was current and before this backlash came around about it, I might have ponied up for the $5 or $10 or $25 aspects of it, gotten the perk or whatever, but just to see it happen. But as I've already alluded to, it didn't meet its goal. There was a lot of backlash. A lot of people were like, what the fuck do you need $50,000 for? A lot of people were like, $50,000 for us to basically send you on vacation? Fuck that. I couldn't believe the kind of vitriol people were spitting about this. And especially this guy whose video I'm making this in a quasi pseudo response to. Because he said it and some people who commented on his video said the same thing. Fuck that guy for thinking that we'll pay him $50,000 so that he can go on vacation. They had absolutely no grasp for what Metal Jesus was wanting to do with this. He wanted to do something fun and entertaining for his subscribers. And it wasn't like we were all going to dish out thousands of dollars individually. The money was going to come in small amounts unless a few people out there wanted to go for a higher amount and get some of the extra perks for it. But these kind of Kickstarter things or Fund Me deals, it's up to you if you want to do it, and if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But why give Metal Jesus some shit over it because he wanted to do something cool, something I'd never seen any of those kind of channels do? How many people on YouTube hit the road like that? Now, you may say, well, how many of those people have the extra cash to do so? Well, maybe not very many of them. But that was why he decided to go the route that he did. If his true subscribers wanted to help him out, they would have. I think his 50,000 goal, and he only ended up with maybe a couple of $1,000s at the time that it either ended or he decided to pull the plug because of the backlash he was getting. It just made me sad to hear that there were people who were upset about this and who would basically turn their backs on a guy who's produced great content for years because he wanted to do something cool and it would require fundage that he just didn't have. And when you think about over 100,000 subscribers and the whole idea, well, like it's the charitable idea of, if everybody gave $1, if this group of people even were to give $1, they could raise thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, just like that, from $1 coming out of your pocket. And that's all that, in my opinion, Metal Jesus was looking for. If even 50,000 of his subscribers wanted to pitch in $1, boom, he would have it. So, as far as Metal Jesus goes, I wish it would have happened. I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to contribute, or at least to have known I could have and offered to, because he refunded everybody their money who did contribute to it. But I would have loved to have seen it happen. That would have been a really awesome thing for this summer. And for the people like the guy whose video I'm responding to, and some of the people in his comments, if they're really that hateful and spiteful against these other people, maybe the problem in the gaming community is not the people out there like Metal Jesus Rocks or PewDiePie or Markiplier or anybody else and doing what they do. Maybe the problem is with you. Maybe you need to open your eyes a little bit and have an open mind about stuff, and stop pigeonholing yourself into, this is my little corner of things and I'm only going to help out the people who are just like me. YouTube is a gigantic thing. It's a big community in and of itself, and the gaming community is big as well. So many of the top 100 subscribed channels on YouTube are gaming channels. We fucking rule this thing. I think we have just as much power and just as much say as the Vivo channels do, as the blogs and vlogs do, as the makeup channels do. We are a powerful bunch of people, and we should all be looking out for one another and supporting one another, and not just saying, screw that guy because he wanted money, and screw that guy because he's a moron. Just open your mind a little bit, man. If you're frustrated with the gaming community, look in the mirror first and see what you can do about yourself. So now that I feel like I've stood on my soapbox a little bit, I'm going to get down off of it, and I'll see you guys in another video.